From Berlin, we're joined by Thomas O'Donnell, Professor. Welcome, Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Thomas, what are the main objectives of President Trump's executive orders to accelerate the construction of nuclear power plants? What do you think they are?
Well, thank you very much for having me tonight, Maya. It's good to be back. I think maybe the best way to do this is I give you the titles of the 4 orders that he signed, and that'll give an overview. There's a number of things he's trying to accomplish. The first order is reinvigorating the nuclear industrial base of the country. The second one is to begin deployment of advanced, new nuclear reactors. The third is to reform the Nuclear Regulatory Commission. That's the Safety Oversight Commission. And the last one is to reform the way that the Department of Energy does the testing for new reactors. So if we look at this all together, I'd say the latter one, the third and the fourth, are to support the first and second point. And really what we want, what I think fundamentally is wanted by Trump, but many others in the United States, is a strong electrical system that is reliable and cheap, and as opposed to the complexity of overbuilding variable renewables that are very depending on wind and sun, that take very complex storage to back them up and so forth. Whereas nuclear would be very, as your report said, used at a very high capacity factor. Something like 90% of its total capacity is basically always online. And this is what's needed for a modern industrial country, for AI going forward, for electrification of things. That's the basic, I would say that's the most basic goal.
Right, you mentioned the basic needs. You talked about safety as well and security. Now, this arises as one of the key challenges today facing nuclear energy, safety and funding. How do you think that these challenges can be addressed? Yes, so he signed an executive order, but how long can it actually take to guarantee safety? And how long can it take for them to generate the required funding?
Well, maybe this is counterintuitive for your listeners, but in the United States, over the last 10 or 20 years, more and more people have come to the conclusion, both Democrat and Republican, this is very broadly supported in Congress, that maybe we went overboard with safety as a reaction to the couple accidents that happened in the 1970s with older model reactors. So the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, reforming this is a major aspect of what he's doing here. Congress already started to work on this some years ago. So here they're saying that, it's two things. One thing is, what hoops are companies forced to jump through in order to get a new model approved, or to get a new installation approved? What kind of environmental studies and so forth? They want to streamline all that. And on the other side, they want to streamline the essential concepts of what is dangerous. So we know that just very quickly, I'll tell you, there's something called as low as reasonably achievable. So what happens is we know that at high exposure to radiation, it does damage, and that's been seen in accidents or nuclear bombs in history. But no one ever sees what's the effect of very low radiation. So what they do is they draw a straight line down and into right down to the bottom to almost zero radiation, and they assume there's still more and more and more damage done, and they do everything to eliminate that, although there's no evidence that at very, very low levels there's really any damage. Sometimes we're talking the amount of radiation extra you get if you live at a city like Denver, Colorado, that's at a high elevation, and so they're saying that this method of regulation is maybe too, it's too extreme, and it's holding back the industry.
Professor Thomas O'Donnell from Berlin, thank you very much for your valuable insights, your contribution and time. Have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Professor. That was amazing. Have a lovely rest of the day. That was good. That was really good.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye,
Thank
Ahmed.
you. Have a good day.
Yes.
While signing the orders in the Oval Office, he added that nuclear technology has come a long way, both in safety and cost. Trump's initiative could unleash nuclear power and give it a significant boost as an emissions-free energy source, promoted as a climate-friendly alternative to electricity generated by burning coal and natural gas. Nevertheless, the US president has championed nuclear power as a complement to fossil fuels, not a replacement. It is worth noting that the US has been a pioneer in the deployment and production of nuclear energy, but over the past 30 years, it has completed only 2 new reactors and closed existing plants, even as China and Russia race to deploy them. In 2024, the US operated 94 nuclear reactors with a total net generating capacity of approximately 97 gigawatts. This is the largest commercial nuclear power generation system in the world, ahead of countries such as France, China, and Russia. Nuclear power still accounts for 19% of electricity generation in the US power sector. The US nuclear reactor network consists of 54 nuclear power plants, each with between 1 and 4 operating units. The Vogtle plant in Georgia is the largest nuclear power plant in the country, with 4 reactors and a total generating capacity of approximately 4.5 gigawatts. It is part of Southern Nuclear Power Company. Since 2013, 12 US nuclear reactors have been permanently shut down. Nevertheless, plant operators have maintained consistently high annual capacity rates, which measures the length of time units in operations. Please stand by.